Hey folks, welcome back to Cats and Kilos. Tonight's episode, we're going to follow up on some of our previous cheap beer talk, and we'll see which one of these cheap beers may be the best choice. So we're trying to save some money in this economy, right? And we've got a choice of 5 beers. Uh, Rolling Rock, Hamm's, PBR, Pabst Blue Ribbon, Miller High Life, and Stroh's. Stroh's, I don't know if it's more of a local thing. I don't know. I think they might be brewed in Wisconsin, but don't quote me on this. But these are all relatively inexpensive. By far, the most inexpensive is the Hamm's. I got a 30-pack of Hamm's very recently, like 2 days ago. A 30-pack of Hamm's. It was on special for $13.99. $13.99 for 30 Hamm's. You almost have to get it, right? And in the previous video, we talked about how you can make it taste better, but it's not a horrendous beer, right? And so we'll discuss which ones I think are better or worse. And then we'll do a little bit of a taste test with 3 of these. All right, so let's start with this. Rolling Rock. Rolling Rock, if you like water, this is your beer. Rolling Rock tastes like water, in my opinion. Interestingly, I think it may actually have the highest score on Beer Advocate as far as the people that scored it. But we have to take that with a grain of salt, because who is scoring this? You know what I mean? If you like various beers, you're going to score a certain way. The posters that I agree with most, though, on this are the ones that said that it had the least taste. It was not very tasteful. It's not a bad tasting beer. It's just that the taste, it's not really there. It tastes very watery. It tastes most like water. So if you don't like beer, this is your beer. If you like water, this is also your beer. I think it's around 4.5% alcohol, something along those lines. Not too much alcohol, not too much beer. Water, Rolling Rock. Not a bad taste, but very, very not much of a beer taste at all. Okay, Hamm's, again, by far the best as far as economical, very cheap beer. And I think it's around 4.7% alcohol, in fact, a little bit more than the Rolling Rock. 4.7% alcohol, I think, and super inexpensive. Call it 50 cents a beer. I got a little bit cheaper on special, right? 50 cents a beer, whatever, like at least in Michigan. Drinkable, for sure. Okay. It actually, in my opinion, got rated a little bit higher than it should have on that Beer Advocate. Even though it got rated lower than this, I think it should have been rated higher. But anyway, they said, oh, smooth, no bitter aftertaste. I think it actually does have a bitter foretaste and aftertaste. You can't have a foretaste in beer. It's got a bit of a bitter taste up front, and it lingers a little bit. PBR, Pabst Blue Ribbon, the classic, right? Okay, it tastes very similar to Hamm's with less of that bitter taste. Definitely better, but probably around $5 more for 30. Still pretty cheap, $20 like for 30, around 20-ish, at least in Michigan, compared to like 15-ish, right? Definitely, it's slightly better, a little bit better beer, less of that bitter aftertaste, but very similar in taste. Okay, Miller High Life, the champagne of beers, like 0.1% less alcohol. I think they had this at 4.6% alcohol. Yeah, very smooth. It's actually a little bit smoother than the other ones. My only thing with this is drinkability. It's great. It's got high drinkability, but can you drink it over a period of time, like multiple beers? If you're going to drink this over the week, it's going to get old, I think, a little bit quicker than the other ones, than maybe the PBR. It won't get quicker, older quicker than this, but it will probably get older quicker than this. Why? I don't know. It's pretty smooth, almost so smooth that it's gonna not be something you want to drink all the time, at least one after the other. But if you're gonna drink one, you would probably choose this over the other ones. Stroh's, again, potentially a Michigan area, tri-state area, whatever, Wisconsin, I don't know. I don't know where you can get it, but it's actually a very good tasting beer. It's probably, I think, the lightest one of these. I think it was maybe the second lightest, 4.6% alcohol, something like that. 4.5. I'm not sure what it was, right? Um, but good tasting beer, potentially even drinkable over a period of time. It's got actually a pretty good taste. Recommended, in fact, um, probably more than the other ones. But what I would do, if you want to save money, I would definitely throw Hamm's in the mix because it's just so cheap. And then I would probably throw a Miller High Life in there too. Why? Even though this is slightly better, the Pabst Blue Ribbon is slightly better than the Hamm's, it's very similar in taste. So if you're trying to save money, you don't want to just keep drinking, something very similar. Take this out of the equation. And if you were to drink these two, I think, that would be a pretty good split for you. Super light, slightly bitter. It'll probably do the trick. Not too expensive. Again, I don't know, around 20-ish, for $20 for 30 type thing. Doable, right? So between these two, I think you'll get something. Okay, so let's do a taste test. We're going to take these two out because I just did not have them on hand. I wasn't motivated to get this one at all. And this one I just didn't have on hand. I'd get it again though. So we're talking about Hamm's, PBR, Pabst Blue Ribbon, and Miller High Life. All right, and that's what we have in these three glasses. These three beers in these three glasses. I really mixed them up. I don't know which one is which. I do have a label at the bottom. I can't show you right now because if I put it in my mouth, it's going to spill, obviously, right? And again, I have no idea what they are. I have mixed them up enough. Even when I brought them down, I just poured them whatever in the appropriate glasses. I really don't know which ones they are. And I really can see myself getting these wrong only because I really don't drink these beers very much. I've only just recently started getting them. And it really doesn't matter. But I just want to see if you just try it for a one-time taste, which one would taste better. Keeping in mind, the longevity of the beer is different. So what you might like on one sip might not be the same thing you would like to drink all night or all week, right? So having said that, my disclaimer, in case I get this wrong. So in order of what I think is best to worst as far as taste, I would say Hamm's, PBR, and Miller High Life if you were only going to, just drink it once, right? Or just a few sips or maybe half a beer or a beer. If you're going to drink it all night, I don't know how long this would be there. I would almost take this out. I don't think I would like to drink this forever, but I think it's going to taste better temporarily. In my opinion, these are a little bit more bitter. This is more bitter than this. So let's see if it stands up to the taste test. Which would I prefer? All right. All right. Let's taste it. Okay. Okay. So off the bat, this tastes less bitter than this. This does not taste super bitter either, but this tastes less bitter. So this is definitely not Hamm's, in my opinion. It might be either one of these, though, right? This might be Hamm's, not Hamm's. Hmm. Is this a champagne of beers, or is this? Oh, yeah. This is definitely lighter. Okay, so this, in my opinion, is the PBR. This is the Miller High Life. Definitely the lightest tasting of all. This is the most bitter. This is somewhere in the middle. This is actually looking, if you're just only going to drink it once, this is not bad. Okay. Yeah, now I can taste the bitterness more. Yeah, very, very light. So even though temporarily I'm going to change my mind, actually, now that I've done this, if I'm right, and these are now in the right order as far as this being Hamm's, this being PBR, and this being Miller High Life, I think probably this is the best one. I'm going to just take this out. I would say PBR. If you're going to just drink one, I think this might just potentially just be drinkable. You know what I mean? so, um, so maybe it is these two you want to get, even though they're very similar in taste. I think it's just too weak. I don't know. So let's see if we're right. So I'm going to check at the bottom. You almost have to take my word for it because there's still beer in there. Okay, so this is Hamm's. I don't know if you can see this or not. There's an H at the bottom. So indeed, I was right about the Hamm's. All right, let's see. Here we go. This was closer. PBR, indeed. So I'm not sure if you could see that. Can you see it? PBR. And obviously then this would be the Miller High Life. Miller High Life. Okay, so we got it in the right order, which means that our initial instincts were correct. But in tasting them like this, it actually made it more obvious to me that I would unfortunately take this out of the equation. The only reason it almost seems that this is better sometimes in the way I initially rated it is because it's different if you just take one sip of a beer versus drinking it, continuously. And maybe the fact that I've actually had a few beers before doing this test, this just really just seemed very, very light to me. So if you're not much of a beer drinker, you might like the Rolling Rock and maybe the Miller High Life. You probably would. They're very, very, I don't want to say weak, but they definitely don't have a very strong beer taste. The Strohs, I'd have to drink it again almost. I would like to maybe not pass judgment. I did like it when I first tasted it, whatever. I don't have any on hand now, but between the Hamm's and the PBR, for sure, even though this is way cheaper. So if you're trying to save money on beer, you almost have to throw Hamm's in the equation somewhere. Hamm's and PBR, why not? They're very, very similar in taste, but this is a lighter version. So it's almost like you're drinking the same thing, and every other one is going to be a little more bitter, but you'll save a lot of money. That's all I can say. Don't worry, we're not going to keep doing cheap beer stuff all the time. The next one is going to potentially be, what I think would be a good one is testing an IPA-ish type thing between, say, Sierra Nevada, which I think is great. I love Sierra Nevada, versus like Two Hearted, a Michigan brew. So Michigan brew and Sierra Nevada. Where's that from? California-ish area or whatever. If people are more into the IPA-ish hoppy type beers, that might be the next one. That would probably be a good one. In any case, I hope you guys have found this video useful or at least mildly entertaining. I'm gonna have to finish all these now. I might just pour them all together, see how it tastes, right? And please subscribe. We're going to have a lot more fun content coming up. And you have a great rest of the night, and we'll see you soon.